Hello, hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm gonna get started in just a few minutes. I'm gonna set everything up and give everybody else a chance to join. I hope y'all doing okay today. We'll get started in just a second. Hey, for everybody that's joining, we're gonna get started in about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm getting everything set up and giving everybody else a chance to join. I hope y'all doing okay today. I just ran up the stairs. I'm tired. I'm out of breath. I need to lose some weight real big. Jesus, I can't even breathe. I hope y'all doing okay today. Let me make sure my sound on. Okay, yes it is. We're gonna get started in just a second. Hey y'all, for everybody that's joining, I'm giving everybody a few more minutes to come on and get everybody a chance to log on. So we'll begin starting in about 2 minutes. And I'm trying to get this screen together. So I hope y'all doing okay today. Can y'all believe we almost like less than 30 days from the start of the season? Although I do know that not everybody does the preseason loans, but for the most part, the most of the industry that does bank products, we will be getting started pretty soon. So thank you for that. That's what I always try to like wait a few minutes before I get started, because once I get started, I can't stop and check the post. Yep, I got like 17 notifications right now. That's why I want to wait just a second. Thank you for that. Thank you for dropping the post. I tried to make it to where everybody can see it. So we are almost at the start of the season. It has been a crazy last couple of years for taxes. So congratulations to y'all for hanging on for real. For the ones that got started during the pandemic, if you made it through the pandemic, I feel like you can make it through pretty much anything in taxes. Like anything that comes up now, you'll be able to make it. For the ones that just get started this year, you picked a good year to start, because all of our pandemic changes, they are back to normal. So this season will pretty much be a quiet one. The most that we'll probably have a few things to really deal with is those 1099Ks, and a lot of people who used to really not file their business, now they're gonna have to file their business. So we may be seeing a lot of that. But as far as like the craziness that we have been dealing with for the last 2 years, we probably won't see nearly as much as that. So you guys picked a great time to start. But like I said, the ones that started within tax year 2020 to 21, and even last year, if y'all can make it through those years, you can make it through just about anything, even the ones that's been in the industry for a while. If you made it through these last couple of seasons, you'll be good to go. So I'm about to go ahead and get started because we do, hey Andrea, we do have a few things to go over today. First of all, I want to welcome y'all to this week for tax season readiness. For the last past, this will be the third tax season that I have started doing like some sort of challenge or class, like a week-long class, just pretty much getting everybody geared up for the season. This season is going to be 2 weeks because it's so much information to cover, and I also wanted to bring other people in so that they can bring their expertise in to show you different things for your office. So for everything for this challenge will be geared upon office readiness, getting yourself ready. It's not really to teach you taxes, but to teach you how to manage your office, how to manage the people in your office, how to make sure that you're in compliance at the federal level, as well as at the state level, and even the local level, because some people have brick and mortar offices. And even if you have virtual offices, there may be certain states that you're in, and it's certain requirements that you have to meet. Just about, even if you're doing taxes out of your home, or if you're not even seeing people in person, there are certain things that you must, certain tasks that you must do in order to be able to legally operate. So that's what some of the things we're going to be going over today is the checklist. So I think pretty much everybody now has been joining the accountability groups. The purpose of the accountability groups is to basically have some form of communication that you can take it a step further. So with the accountability groups, it's supposed to be in place for you to, when you go through each of the challenges, and even during the season, when you may run across a problem, or if something happens and you need help, this may be somebody that you want to reach out to, in their group to kind of help you along the way. Because one thing I do know, if you are not in the tax industry, you pretty much can't really relate to the things that we go in. So that's the whole purpose of this challenge and having an accountability group. And that's the whole purpose of the group on Facebook, period, is just to have a community where we all can share, network, engage, and really be supported. Because like I said, nobody can understand this stuff unless they're actually in it, unless they actually deal with the IRS, deal with the clients. They don't know the stuff we, go through. They probably listen, but they probably can't relate to it because it's a whole different ball game. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and get started. So today, the very first thing that we're going to go over is, y'all know, anybody that has ever took one of my classes, y'all know that I like to start from the beginning, because pretty much everything that I have done in business, period, whether it's been in the tax industry or whatever business that I have tried to do or have done, if your foundation is not set properly, there can be chances where down the line it might come back to bite you. And this tax season, I don't know if a lot of you guys have been following my journey. I know a lot of you have, though, because it's a lot of familiar faces that I see here, but we do have some new people here. So this tax season, I reached a huge goal among my entire service bureau. And it was probably the worst, the worst season I have ever encountered, because of me not having the proper foundation and the proper structure to begin with. So that's one of the things that, another reason why I wanted to do this challenge and just start the group is because if we can learn from each other, not when I first started my service bureau and started building a team, people really didn't like to give out that type of information. So a lot of the things that I had to learn, a lot of the things that I did, I had to kind of navigate through the waters through myself. So a lot of that was through trial and error. And that was the whole purpose of me, starting this group and stuff, because I'm like, man, if I could save somebody else the financial strains, the days of you being stressed and crying and all of this stuff, I feel like that's my whole purpose in life. So let's get started, y'all. Y'all know I get on here and get to rambling all day. So let me share my screen real quick. If at any time you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. This is not a let me see. This is not a situation where you have to like wait to the end or anything. If it's something that you want to ask while I'm on it, please feel free. And other anybody that's on here that want to chime in, you are more than welcome to, because we can all learn together. And I'm taking this challenge right along with y'all. So day one, we are going over the foundations. We'll go through the tax pro checklist. If you have not downloaded the checklist, please do so. So that you can follow along if you want to. It is on the link tree. The kick is at the bottom of the screen, linktr.ee/kickoff, the number 2 6 figures. And if you go there, you will see where it says download the freebie. You can follow along with that checklist. All right. So that's what we're gonna go over today, as well as how to differentiate between a virtual and a storefront office, as well as trying to get your back office ready. Because like I said, if your back office and if your foundation is not together, it might not be now, but later on down the line, when it's time for you to grow and scale, you may run into a few problems if you don't have everything together at the foundation, at the basic level. All right. And then we'll have a live Q&A. So starting with this first checklist, the first section of the checklist, this is our tax business essential. Now, a couple of people that are not beginners, this may be something that you already have, but you can do a quick refresher in this section just to see if it's anything that you may have missed, or anything that you can kind of, if you're going through a rebrand, if you're going through like where you're going from being a PTIN user to just not getting your EFIN, it may be some things that you can use to help you in your business. So of course, everybody know, if you want to have a tax business, you need to have a business name. You need your PTIN and or your EFIN. Anybody that's, and we'll expand upon each one of these topics, so I don't want to jump too far ahead, but with your PTIN, anybody that wants to file taxes professionally, at the very least, you need a PTIN, all right? Your business structure, plus your EIN, we'll go over all these topics in just a second. I do not want to jump ahead of myself. As well as your address, phone, and your bank account. And of course, you need your professional email address and your professional tax software, as well as your bank product. These are the essentials. These are things that you cannot file taxes without. Now, the last one with those products, that is like some revenue boosters for your office, just depending on what level you are. So that's not required, but the rest of them on up, these are required. In order to file taxes professionally as a paid preparer and do things the right way, this is what you need. Now let's go through each one of these individually. So with your business name, the more original it is, the better. You want to stand out. You don't want to have your business as similar or almost identical to another one, especially if it is a business name that may be common. So for example, you would never name your business Jackson Hewitt. Like that's just crazy. You should want to name your business something that another brand may have, especially if it's popular. Now, there may be situations where there are, fast cash. I see a lot of those. I see a lot of rapid refunds, and that is fine, but you want to make sure that you can have something that is distinctive to you. Okay, so first things first, when you're trying to rebrand or when you're trying to brand your tax office, you want to think about it in the future before you name it. This is one of the biggest things I wish I had have done when I very first started my tax firm a couple of years ago. This is the third business name that I had. The first time the very first name I had for my business was RJ's Taxes. Okay, now of course y'all know how situation goes with relationships. All right, sometimes you'll be on the end, sometimes you'll be on the outs, and I'm like, shoot, I'm taking this J off of here. Okay, so I had to go through another rebrand. We have to think about this stuff all the way, down the line in the future. What might happen if this happened or that happened? And the second one I had, it was unlimited taxes. Now, unlimited taxes it was unlimited taxes and financial services. So that was unlimited taxes is a big brand. So at that time, I did not know that this was an actual company. Honestly, like I had never seen them until I started getting on social media. And that was after I had already had my name. And people was telling me like, are you connected with such and such? And I'm like, no, that's not my brand. So I eventually changed it to what the business name is now. So in the beginning, that would have saved me a lot of, rebranding, getting logos and all of that if I had just thought about it a little bit harder and did a proper search. So you want to check, not only do you want to like think about branding and stuff and going on there, you want to check and do a thorough search to see how many of them is it, because there may be something that kind of, you know, turns you off for one business name. So if you have like 6 that you have in mind or 3 that you have in mind, and you go in there and do a search and you see that it may be a lot of them, or somebody already has it trademarked, that will absolutely be something that should not, you know, say, well, look, I don't want to do that because it's too close. Anytime that you want to have your business and you see your business getting bigger, even at the beginning, I would suggest to anyone to trademark. You never know how big your business can bloom overnight. Your business could, you know, we all pray for increase. We all pray for 6 and 7 figures. What happens if that happens to you? And it may be a situation where your business name is something that somebody else already has. And that was the first thing they're going to do. They're going to sue you. And it may be something that, you know, you didn't know, you know, you may be ignorant to the fact. Ignorant just really means don't know. So maybe that was something or whatever, but they're not going to look at that in court. They're going to say you should have done your due diligence. And that's one of the first things that we, you know, should do. And a lot of us do not know that. So I'm telling you now, if you have not done like a thorough search of your business name that you have now, or if you're thinking of rebranding, or if you're thinking of a business name, go ahead and do a search. And I'm about to show you right now where you can do a search. Now, wait a minute. I was supposed to, okay. This is the USPTO. This is where you can go search for a trademark. If there is an active trademark, if a trademark application is pending for a certain business name or a certain business logo, because not only can you trademark names, you can also trademark pictures, logos as well. So you have to make sure that you are doing your search, because you may look at your business as being small right now, but you never know what levels your business might reach. And you never know who may be doing searches on the name that they have. They, you know, anybody that has a trademark or anybody that has like a big business, sometimes they would definitely go after the smaller ones. Even if they feel like you get revenue or not, they'll go after you for, you know, using their business name. So just do a search. When you go in here and create an account, you want to, you can use this tab, search trademarks, and you can search the text. Now I don't know if they charge for each search. I think that's just Texas, but you can definitely go on there and do a search and just see what pops up for whatever business name that you want to do. And this, if you want to trademark your business, this is the first thing. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if I couldn't remember. I know one of them charged for doing a search. I think it's Texas though. Texas charge for every little thing. Yep, I knew it was something. So you definitely, this is where you will go to do your trademark application. But I do recommend, if this is something that you may not be well versed in, definitely either get you a trademark lawyer or go through something like Legal Shield, LegalZoom to do it, because they'll go through that process and do it for you so that you won't mess up anything on the application that can cause it to be rejected. It already takes so long and you don't want to have anything to delay it. And also, this is a situation that happened to one of my best friends. You don't want anybody to trademark your brand, like something that you have it established, and somebody sees that you are vulnerable and you're wide open, they will in fact turn around and trademark your name. People are making that a whole business where they will not only trademark your brand, that may be something that may seem drastic, but they can do something as little as getting your domain name for a business that you have. And when it's time for you to get a website and you go in there and say, dog, this is already taken, and they'll buy up .com, .org, .net, and they'll turn around and sell it to you for $1,500 for a domain that they just got for maybe $5 or $7, depending on what site they got it from. So definitely make sure that you are on top of it. If you do not have at least a domain name for your business today, go and get one, okay? And that's what we're going to be talking about in just a second. Let me go back to the slides. But yeah, people are actually making it out of as a business, y'all. So what they'll do, where's my slides? Dang. So what they will do is they will go and purchase a domain name for, you know, just a business that's already out, or just a business that they think somebody will get, and they'll purchase all the domain names and even get it trademarked. And that's kind of, you have to be a little, you know, creative when it comes down to stuff like this, especially during inflation. Milk is $6 a gallon, okay? So we have to be a little creative in some of the things that we do. Let me pull this chat up real quick. That was something I want to keep on the screen. Dang. I'm trying to pull it up to the side. Well, if y'all drop something in the chat, hopefully then notify me. So next thing is your PTIN and your EFIN. Well, going back to the business name, also, this is something that I wish I would have done earlier for my very first logo. Even though this is my third rebrand, the logo that I have now, that's the second logo. Actually, it's the third one, but hey, who's counting? But this is like the third logo that I have had for this business. Now, this one has, kind of stick with me for the past year and a half, because the first one that I had, I purchased a template. And with that template, I could not get it trademarked. So when I went to do my trademark application, I could not do it because it was done through one of those free sites. So I could not do that one, had to go back to the drawing board. Then the second one I purchased from Etsy. It was a pre-made template. And when I asked the artist, could I use it to trademark? Of course, she told me no. And then at first she told me no. And then she told me that, yeah, I could, but it was going to be $5,000. So I was like, look, I can get a whole new logo for cheaper, and did. Okay, so that's what I did. I went and got another logo. But before the whole trademark situation, before I even thought about that, I was trying to get my logo put on t-shirts, put on cups and stuff like that. But the logo was not it wasn't a good brandable logo. It had a lot of glitter on it and all of that. So it did not look good on a professional t-shirt. It did not look good on a t-shirt at all, to be honest. And it was not a transparent logo. So all of that stuff, when you have your business name, just make sure that it is something that can be branded as well. So when you have a business name, make sure it's not nothing that's super, super long, or if you have it super long, that you can put an acronym on it, okay? Because just think about a real long business name on a t-shirt. It may not look so good, and people may not be able to easily read it. Now, the next thing is your PTIN and your EFIN. Of course, pretty much all of the veterans here know, but for the beginners, the newbies, the ones that just getting started, the PTIN is $30.95 on the IRS website. And on that link tree, I'm going to link everything that I mentioned today where you can go. I'm going to link everything on that link tree. Most of it is already there, but everything that we discussed will be there at the end of this class. Now, you go to the PTIN account. There are two separate accounts that you must do. The first one is your PTIN account. That's where you go on there and you will register and pay your $30.95. Some people I've been seeing been having a few problems with getting it. Some of the things that I've been seeing is that if you let somebody else do your PTIN, sometimes it's hard for you to get back in there if you didn't do it and you don't have access to the email and the phone number that was used. You can call e-services and they can help guide you and get that account back to where you have access to it. With your EFIN is free, including the fingerprints. You don't have to pay for that anymore, and it's streamlined. This, I don't know why, this is probably the first thing that the IRS has gotten right. This process has been going so smoothly. It has been going so good. Some of my partners that I help, walk them through the process and have been checking on it with them. It's been taking 2 to 3 weeks to get an EFIN. Sometimes it'll take, they can schedule the fingerprints appointments the same day here in Texas. So it's very, very easy. It just depends on where you live, though. If you live in an area where there may not be a lot of fingerprint sites, then it may take you a little bit longer. But what I would tell y'all is, if you can, you maybe, if you want to get it before the season, it may not be too late. However, if you're in a city that does not have the fingerprint locations, you may want to just take a same day flight. Come on down here to Texas. I can take you right to the fingerprint place, and you can probably do it the same day if you get it done by 2:00 p.m. If you schedule the appointment before 2:00, you can get the appointment the same day. So if you ever need to come down here to do your fingerprint appointment, let me know and I will show you exactly what location to go to. All right. Now, this is going to be on your e-services account. Everybody, whether you have a PTIN or EFIN, you need to get you an e-services account just so you can get in the groove of knowing how to work through it. And when it's time for you to get an EFIN, you will be able to navigate it and have it with no problems. Now, of course, if you do not have an EFIN, or if you have not gotten yours back in time, you can partner with an ERO. There are several verified EROs and service bureaus in the group. So if you do not have your EFIN and you need somebody to work with, there are several in the group that are verified to do so. So they have been vetted. I have looked at their site. I have made sure that these vendors are legit before putting anybody on the list. So you do not have to worry about any scams, any unethical practices, or anything. All of these ladies are vetted, and they are like, this is somebody that I would use. So I would never refer somebody else to anybody if I would not use them personally. All right. So the next thing is your business structure and your EIN. So pretty much all of us knows about like business structures, but of course with our newbies, they may need a little bit more guidance. Now Lord, let me tell y'all, with tax businesses are something that is considered to be risky in terms of banking, okay? So please make sure that you are at the very least, separating your personal from your business in terms of setting up a whole new business identity. So when you are just starting out as a PTIN holder, you're still technically under somebody else's brand per se, because you do not have your own EFIN. But the minute you get your own EFIN, you will need to have a complete business structure. Service bureaus, I highly recommend that you separate the two. You need a business for your service bureau, and you need a business for your tax office. You should not commingle the two, okay? Please make sure you have those two separate entities. The thing through this tax season, just take my word for it. Put them in two separate business entities. So each of with your tax business, you want to make sure that you have an EIN number so that you can get a business bank account. Now, if you're working up under somebody and you don't have your own EFIN, it's not mandatory for you to have a business bank account. Even as EFIN holder, it's not mandatory, but I highly recommend that you do. And if you have somebody that you're going to be working under you, you definitely need a business bank account. And when you are starting to get business bank accounts, make sure that you are asking them questions. I would recommend either talking to somebody or going into an office and let them know. Ask them several questions about how do they feel about large deposits coming in and large deposits going out. So talking to my service bureaus and team builders, people that have teams, I highly recommend that you have conversations with the branch manager. You may need to take it a step further and talk to the general manager. If it's like a chain like Bank of America or Wells Fargo, you may need to take it a step further and talk to the general managers just to see what type of policies they have against, having large amounts of money coming in and that same amount of money going out. Most of us do like weekly payouts, some do daily payouts, and depending on the banks and stuff, sometimes they have a problem with that, especially, during this tough time. Of course, banks want to use our money to play with. So you definitely have to make sure that you have a bank that will work with you, that's tax office friendly. Some banks will just flat foot deny you for having a tax brand. So that's why some people, you will see them having like their business name is business services, or they'll, instead of saying tax office or tax services, they'll say something like what it was another one, business services or enterprises or accounting firm. That's a little bit better than tax offices for the business name. Just by having a business name with those words in it and with the word credit in it, sometimes they can have you to have an absolute immediate denial just if you have those words in it, because they are risky businesses. And by us facilitating like refund advance loans, sometimes even though we're not the ones loaning out the money, by us facilitating them and by us promoting those services, that can go against certain banks' terms of service. And that's another thing that I suggest for you guys as well, is to read every bank account that you're going to get, read their funds availability disclosure, and also read their terms of service. You will be surprised some of the things that go on in those policies, and whether they're banks or even if you're going to use something for like payroll services, make sure you read the terms of service, okay? Especially if you have a team, because it's not just your money that you are, going to have to take care of. This is somebody else's money as well. Like if you don't have Refundo is the only bank that I know that will separate the ERO's money and put theirs in their bank account, and they'll separate just the PTIN holders' money and put it in their bank account. The other banks don't do that. So if you're building a team, you're going to have to pay your people out. So make sure that you have their money somewhere safe, and you are using payroll programs and things of that nature that is going to get them their money in a timely fashion without any holes or delays. Okay. Now, another one is your business address and your phone line. So with your personal address, do not put your personal address on your tax returns, okay? Like you do not want your address to be on these people's tax returns. You don't know where they're leaving their information, and you just don't want nobody pulling up at your house. I can probably count on both hands how many clients I had just pull up at my house back way when I knew before having a virtual address. People would come up to my house like asking to pick up checks. Why you not answering the phone? I got a question about my refund. No, that's very ghetto. I'm not gonna say it's ghetto, but that was ghetto for me. Okay, like you do not want nobody coming to your house, because first of all, in this type of industry, when you're dealing with people money and stuff, you need to protect yourself. So make sure that you are getting something like a virtual address, or sometimes you may use a PO box like for software, but if you're gonna do bank products, you cannot use a PO box to register for the bank products. Okay, so get you a virtual address. Now, some of the virtual address vendors are Anytime Mailbox. That's going to be one of them that's linked on that link tree. It's Anytime Mailbox, and it's another one that's the one that I use. I prefer that one because they have a actual, if you're going to be using it for like business credit and starting your business credit journey, they have an actual landline. It's like, actual address for, it's not like a post box. Some of the Anytime Mailboxes, they'll have like PMB, or they'll have like suite such and such, but it'll also have like a box number. So if you need to have like a physical address with a suite attached without the PM boxes and all of that, then that one is going to be your best bet. And it's like $22 a month, but that's not bad for a virtual address. Now with your business line, oh my God, if I could go back the hands of time and go back 10 years ago, I would never give my personal number out to any of my tax clients, period. I should have had this situated a long time ago, because, this is how you set those boundaries. And sometimes it's hard to break that cycle of them calling you on your phone, on your personal phone, them DMing you on Facebook. It's kind of hard to break that when that's how it started, okay? So if you are just getting started with your business, please, 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 if you set that foundation and set that framework early and create those boundaries early, then they have no choice but to respect that, and they'll do it because that's what they've been conditioned to do. I think it took me a good 2 to 3 seasons. Once I started like getting another phone line and all of that, it took me like 2 to 3 seasons for my clients to take it seriously and start using that outlet the way that I wanted them to. Now, there are free options. You can use Google Voice. There's nothing wrong with using that, but sometimes people kind of attribute that to being a scam. I don't know why, because that's like a second line, but sometimes people will say, I have seen that have a negative connotation, like they'll be like, yeah, she got an old Google Voice number, you can't even, like stuff like that. So this is just some like I saw just by being on Facebook and seeing some of the posts that go viral and stuff. But I personally don't see anything wrong with a Google Voice number. You can definitely use it. It's until you are able to subscribe to the paid services. Now with the paid option, Sideline is one that I had used. I still use Sideline. It's $9.99 a month, and it acts sort of like Google Voice, except it does not have like the Google Voice what is it, the Google Voice announcement. When somebody calls, it'll say the Google Voice number. It doesn't have that. It rings just like a phone, and what will happen is it'll let you know like this is a sideline call, so you'll know that this is a business. It's an app that you download, so you'll know that this is one of your clients calling. And you can also do like phone forwarding. So you can, if you have an assistant or if you have somebody that's going to be helping you answer the phones, you can forward the calls to that line as well. So that sideline, and it's only $9 a month. And it also has two-way texting. So you can text your clients and they can text you back from their number. Now, if you want to take it a step further and do an 800 number, service bureaus, I definitely recommend that you have an 800 number. That puts you in a little bit more professional standpoint, and it also gives you the opportunity to, when you grow to be a big software company and a big reseller, you're able to have different departments with your 800 number. Grasshopper is the one that I use personally, and Grasshopper also has the option to have a built-in virtual assistant. It's called Ruby, and it is, when I tell you I did my demo today, it took me about an hour and a half, but it is so good, and the prices are not expensive at all. So it depends on the volumes of the call, but you can have somebody to answer every one of the lines that you need answering. So you have a department for this. So for example, if you're going to do it for your service bureau, you may have a department for tech support. You may have a department for onboarding. You may have a department just for general questions or for sales. There can be somebody answering each one of those lines. So if you do not have a team yet that can help you with that part, you can definitely use the services that they have to do so. For if you have a big firm, just the actual tax office, you can definitely use that to have a somebody to do like refund requests or just general questions, new client questions, stuff of that nature. And they can take phone calls, they can leave messages, they can also read off a script that you give them. So they can actually answer the phone, and you can hear all of the recordings, all of the phone calls are recorded. And I love that so much. I cannot wait to implement that, because one thing that I have learned is that there's no need of having a number if there's not going to be nobody there to answer it. Like, that's just going to do, it's not going to do anything but have your clients frustrated. Or if you have software users, that's going to have them frustrated, because what's the point of having a number if nobody answers it? So definitely, and there is a couple of options that you can have, like virtual assistants as well, to help. And that is actually going to be our day 8. I think it's 7 or 8. We're gonna go through where to find virtual assistants to do every task that you need in your office. Now, the next thing is we're gonna go. This is for the business bank account as well. When you have a business bank account, it is personal. It's fine starting off, but the quicker you get a business account and you can use your volume to start helping you towards business credit. It, as a tax preparer, of course, y'all know most of our money comes seasonal. Now, and that's another thing too that you have to talk to the banks about, is letting them know that you're going to have a lot of seasonal money, because sometimes banks may not like that, and it may be a determining factor for them to approve you or deny you from the account. One thing I can tell y'all that I promise you, please take heed to: never, ever, ever lie on your business bank account application. If you know that it's a question, so for example, if they ask you, are the bulk of these funds going to be seasonal, and you select yes, or you select no, and you know it's going to be yes, then that may be very well be a violation of their terms of service. When they ask you about how much volume that you think you may have, now that's where things get tricky sometimes, because in previous years you may have only made, let's say, 80 grand a year, but this year you go viral and you say, dog, I'm getting clients left and right. And the minute you know your volume will increase from what it has already usually been, or even if you see it will be a decrease, you have to communicate that with your banks. Because one thing about it that I learned with banking, it's all about relationship, and it's all about history. And it's also with a lot of fraud and scams and stuff going on. They look at, what's the word I'm looking for? They look at not the history, dang. things that are recurring and things that happen a lot and usual. So they track all of that. So make sure if you know that you're going to be, something is coming up that's out of the usual, some unusual activity, you give your bank a ring and let them know, like, hey, we did very well in business this month. We're going to be expecting a lot of deposits or a big deposit coming in very soon. I'm just letting you know. Those are the type of things that you have to prepare the banks for, and they'll also save you from a lot of heartache and all of that stuff and having to go through the hoops and hurdles and all of the roller coasters down the line. So the next thing is your professional email address. So I get these questions a lot, especially in the group, about like the professional email address, where to get them, what's the best option. So this is I use Zoho. That's where I get my professional email address for. And I'm about to show you how it works in just a second, because I do know there are some people who need this as well. So for a professional email address, it's going to be anything at whatever your domain name is. And it is more secure and professional than just using the Gmail and Yahoo account. So the minute you want to make, especially if you have an EFIN, even as the PTIN holder, the minute you want to take your business seriously, you're going to have to get you a professional email address. Now, the first thing, of course, you need to get you a domain. You cannot get an email address without getting a domain. Now, some of the email hosting services, they allow you to buy the domain through there. But with some of them, you have to bring the domain to the hosting service. So that just depends on where you go. Now, choosing your vendor, that'll be the company that you want to host your email through. Like I said, I use Zoho. They offer a free email service for up to 5 emails. So you can have up to 5 professional emails for your company, your business, without having to pay anything. Now, I will put this out as a little disclaimer. I don't know if that was a promotion or not. So I'm not really sure. Honestly, I'm not really sure, because when I looked on there earlier, I did see that it was like $1 per month, but that's still very, very good compared to some of the others that's like $15, and even I saw like $50 a month. So other vendors are Gmail. Gmail has a professional. It's called G Suite. Outlook has the professional one, and if you have a website already, start there, because sometimes you can host your professional email right through your website. And after that, once you get your domain and you choose your vendor and you go through and set up what you want it to be, you now have a professional email address that you can go out and send and use. And if you do not have a business bank account yet, I highly suggest that you get that professional email, that professional address, and all of that before you get your business bank account, because all of that will look good and it will show them that, hey, I'm a legit business out here. I got my email, my phone number, all of that stuff. Now, just a little disclaimer as well. I know y'all know the business credit wave has been taken off. So it may be a little bit more harder for you to get business credit now and business bank accounts. But the biggest thing is consistency, because, of course, y'all know how people then got all the loans and stuff and not paying them back. So it's kind of been a little bit harder for newer businesses, newer LLCs to get business credit as well as business bank accounts. But just keep trying and start with smaller banks and smaller vendors when you're trying to start that journey. Now, like I said, where to get a professional email, you can start at your website. If you do not have a website, Zoho offers free or very low cost for your email. Now, professional email website tips. So this is a couple of questions that I saw in the group. One of which is, if you want to do an auto reply, the way I do my auto reply, instead of having to use a software, I do the vacation responder. I think that's what it's called on Gmail, but on Zoho, it's called out of office. So basically what that means is that when somebody emails you, what it's for you to reply automatically and say, hey, I'm out of office. But I use that as a way to do my autoresponder. So that just lets somebody know, hey, I got your email. For a couple of y'all who have been emailing me, y'all get that in that auto reply a lot. You will see that it's on there. So anytime you email me, that's going to be the auto reply that lets you know, hey, we got your email and we'll be responding to you within 24 to 48 hours. This cuts down on a lot of the questions, and it also sets expectations for your clients as well, because if you got it right there on that auto reply, even if they don't read it, but you got it right there and letting them know, hey, here's my turnaround time, it's still within this time. Or if something happens and, you know, they're constantly replying back and forth, then you have their autoresponder to let them know. But usually, you know, most of your clients will abide by that. Now excuse me, y'all, my allergies doing the most. You can also use an alias email to get multiple emails for free. I do know Google and Zoho both offers that. So instead of you having to create a whole nother business mailbox and using up a license or opening up another one, if you want, let's say for instance, you want to have multiple departments, but you may want to have them all going to one mailbox, you can set up an alias to where if somebody emails that email, it'll come to your primary mailbox. And I'll show you exactly what I mean in just a second. It may sound kind of crazy. But you also want to have you a signature. In that signature, you want to represent your brand in your signature, because you send emails. I know as a tax professional, you send emails a lot. So you want to use your email, your signature part in your email to put your social media links. You may want to put an ad down there. I have seen a lot of very creative email signatures. Some people put scriptures down there. Some people say, hey, get a free vacation. Here's how, or get a free ebook. So your signature can be a way for you to do some free ads or some free representation for your brand. Get your brand out there. And a lot of times for your offices, you can also put like a funnel down there or a lead magnet for people. So that's something that you can do as well. But use that space and use it to your benefit is the whole goal for the signature. And you also can add a disclaimer as well to your signature, since you may be sending out sensitive information. And I do not mind if you copy and paste the verbiage that is on my signature on my email. That information basically just states that if you send an email to someone and it may not be for the sender, that you're letting them know that they should delete it. That's one of the parts of that CYA cover yourself and cover your business, because it may be a situation that you misspell. Let's just say, for instance, you misspell your clients. You're trying to send them a tax return and you make a mistake and misspell their email, right? But that's an actual email that it's going to. So it delivered successfully. It did not bounce. So somebody got that sensitive information. So that disclaimer at the bottom will kind of protect you in a sense, because, you know, you let them know if this is not intended for you, then you need to delete it. So that's what that's for. Now, let me pull this screen down so I can show y'all the email version thing while we're on here. Dang, this is okay. So this is the Zoho that I was telling y'all about. This is the one that I use. This is my actual email right now. So this part right here is where you do the out of office, and this is your autoresponder. And this is what I use right here. So if anybody emails me, this is what they get. You can put anything on there. As y'all can see, it goes all the way to 2031. So this will not go off until 2031 at the earliest. So you can set that to whatever you want to set it to. Most email providers has this option. Now, this part right here is where I was telling y'all about with the like aliases and stuff. You can create an alias email to where if somebody puts that, the PR team at the Boss Box Tax Solution, if they send an email there, then it will come directly to this admin email, okay? And I can have the option to send from this email address as well, okay? So, but that does not, you can have as many of them as you want to on here, and that's a free way for you to do it. But the only drawback to it is that it's going to be in this one email. So if that may work for a single office for somebody, like if you don't mind having multiple, like if you have one office email that everybody has access to instead of having like a personal email, that may work for that. But yeah, I wouldn't do that if you had staff and they need their own personal email, or if you had your own personal email and you don't want them to have access to it as well. I wouldn't do that option, but it's definitely there for some of those like one-off type things. Like if you're going to do a giveaway, you can have like a small giveaway email. That's really the purpose for it, is to have like a temporary email that you're not going to use a whole lot. So that's the purpose of that. Now, this is the option I was telling y'all about. As y'all can see right here, it does say free, but I do not know if this is still available. So just check that out. Even if it's not, their stuff is very, very inexpensive. I think it's probably one of the cheapest ones, and they have an app and everything. So this is the professional email address that I use, and I think you can purchase your domain directly from there, or you can bring one in. So if you want to get started today, you just go to zoho.com and get all started. They have a CRM. They have a lot of other tools in here. So if you're looking for like a one-stop shop, they do have a lot of different options, but some of this is a learning curve. Like they have a calendar, their inputs and all of that. So you may be able to use this to your advantage. For people, they have forms and everything. Now, I don't use all this stuff, so I can't speak on it, but definitely for the email, that's the option that I use. But what is it? Gmail, G Suite. They also have a professional option as well, and it has these same features. And I can probably pull it up for y'all. I'm probably have to do that on another one, but I could definitely pull it up for y'all and drop a video on there. Did this pop out? So let me go back to the present. Okay, so the next thing on our step, after these are all of where we almost through with the business essentials. This is one of the last ones, and this is your software and your bank product. You cannot file taxes without your software. Now, contrary to popular belief, you can file taxes without a bank product. Some people do not have any problems with their clients paying them up front. You are blessed. If you have clients that do not mind paying you up front without any issues, consider yourself to be blessed. You have hit the tax preparer lottery, okay? If you are like me, and probably almost pretty much everybody on here, you're going to need you a bank product. These clients not going to be coming back. You don't have time to be chasing them, wondering, did you get it yet? Did you get it yet? No, this bank product will give you the opportunity to get your fees directly from their bank account. And it will also give you the opportunity to be able to, not their bank account, from their refund. And it also will give you the opportunity to be able to offer certain things to your clients for marketing. So refund advances, of course, y'all know this is very popular among a lot of taxpayers. They love those refund advances. We don't like them because we got to pay for them. But for your tax clients, they love those refunds. So those refund advances. So they are a great marketing tool, and it gives you a competitive edge over some of these DIY companies like TurboTax and all that, even though they do offer tax loans, but I don't think they do the pre-act. If I'm not mistaken, they don't do the pre-season loan. So between January the 2nd or 3rd, all the way up until like hub testing and when the IRS opens up, you have a good competitive advantage because not too many companies or professional DIY softwares, they're not offering that type of tax loan. Now with your software, of course, it's going to vary on what your preference is. Do you prefer a cloud-based software or do you prefer a desktop? Now, I can honestly tell you guys that I have literally used probably every every software there is. Like, I have literally, even the ones that just now get started, even the ones that, a lot of people don't even use, I literally have either done a demo or I have used them in a tax season. I don't know. I'm just that type of person. If you say you're the best, I have to see, are you the best? If it's a lot of stuff that's in competition with you, or if it's something else that's out there. So for me, none of the software that's out there can complete my needs better than TaxLab Pro. For the service bureau, I will say that. So for team building, all of that, having, offices under you, the multi-office management, TaxLab Pro cannot be messed with when it comes down to that. Now, for personal offices, like if you are just a preparer, you're looking for some software, you don't have a team, you're not trying to build a team, that's going to all be determined on, number one, where are you going to be filing taxes at? So if you have a brick and mortar office where you're bringing in clients and stuff, my personal suggestion is you may want one that is desktop version, one that can only be used at an office, one that can, have that professional feel. This is where I feel like Crosslink and TaxWise and Lord knows, I'm sorry y'all to use Drake, but Drake just too ancient for me. I'm sorry, but a lot of those desktop version softwares, they fit really well for those type of scenarios, because you can kind of keep up with them better, and the data is far more secure, and it's better for a brick and mortar. Now, if you are, you don't have an office, you're just doing taxes at home, or you don't know whether you're going to be in one state this week or you're going to be in this state that week, if you on the go, a cloud-based software is going to be your best friend. One that if you have a child like mine that break your device every 3 to 6 months, then you may need a cloud-based software. One that if you break your laptop today, you can go get another one tomorrow, and you don't have to worry about calling tech support. You just go right to your Internet Explorer or your Google Chrome, and you're right back in business. So that may be something that's the biggest thing to consider when you are looking for software, even before your pricing and all of that, because before you even look into the pricing, you got to make sure that it meets your needs. Then the next thing is you want to make sure, of course, the pricing. You want to make sure that you can afford it. And with tax software, I'm going to let y'all know right now, the less money that you pay up front, sometimes the fees you're going to pay that per return. So if you don't have to pay any money down, or if it's not a lot of money down, then you're going to probably pay a little bit higher. And it just depends. It's not a one size fit all. So please don't quote me on this. But usually that's what the case is. Like, you're going to pay probably a little bit more per return. So you might have like a lot of service bureau fees and all of that. Now, I'm not going to get into all of that during this call or whatever, but I can tell y'all, and this is not just me saying this because I am a service bureau, but there is nothing wrong with paying a service bureau fee. There's nothing wrong with paying like your bank product fees and all of that, simply because these are, when you go under a service bureau, they are usually there to support you. They'll give you education. They'll give you that mentorship. They'll give you that extra hand that you have, that extra crush that you may need during the tax season. Like, you consider a service bureau to be a part of a union. If you were, how they have workers union, you have a little bit more support and you have a little bit more community when you are working with a service bureau, as opposed to you just being at the company and it's like you're just another number. So if you do not need any type of, if you need some support, if you need somebody that you can call on and have that, personal relationship with, or even, getting some mentorship and being a part of a community, that service bureau is going to be your best bet. So, and also, if you don't have an EFIN, then the only way that you're going to be able to get that professional tax software is if you go through a service bureau or if you partner with another ERO. Now, in certain situations, it may not be beneficial for a company to go through a service bureau. If you have a lot of volume, like thousands of returns, there may not be a sense for you to go through a service bureau. So all of that will be determined based upon your needs, and that will be a case-by-case scenario. But the biggest thing is to ask questions. Ask what you're getting, read every contract, read every agreement, read everything that you need to read before you sign on the dotted line, okay? I cannot tell y'all how many times when I first started this journey doing taxes professionally, I had a bad deal. I really did, but I blame myself because I did not read. When that lady sent me that stuff, I was just so excited to be able to do taxes professionally, because I had been kind of, asking them to bring me the money back and all of that. I didn't have time for that. So when she told me I can offer checks, I can get debit cards, I can get the money out of the client's refund, I was happy. I was excited. I'm like, yeah, this is it right here. So I just signed that stuff as quick as she sent it to me. And as a matter of fact, I was doing a one-on-one with somebody like 2 weeks ago, like right before Thanksgiving, and I was telling them this exact situation. And that DocuSign, I used the same DocuSign that account that I had now that I had back then. So I searched and I found that document that I signed. Y'all, I opened the document, let's just say at 12 o'clock. At 12:01, I had signed it. Like, that's literally, it was like less than a minute. There is no way for you to read all that stuff in less than a minute. I just just signed it. That is the worst thing that you can do for yourself. Please read everything. If you have a question, please ask. You do not feel pressure to sign a contract. If something does not sound or it does not make sense to you, ask those questions, okay? And that's what your tax besties are for. That's what your accountability groups are for. Like, hey, I need some assistance. Is this a good deal? What do you guys think about this? And a good service bureau would not care. A person that does not, is not trying to do anything, they don't care about those type of things being talked about. Or if you need to have that question, ask them questions, or take some time to read over it, they will not care about that type of thing. They will actually encourage you to do so. Now, of course, with your software, sometimes, that saying that they say, don't put the cart before the horse or something like that. That's the type of thing when it comes down to picking a bank versus getting the software first. If you notice, a lot of times, if you try to go to, let's say, Refund Advantage or what's the other one, TPG, if you go and try to enroll, they'll stop you and say, hey, you need to get a software first. This is exactly the truth. You need to pick your software before you go to pick a bank. And a lot of people end up stuck with a bank that they may not, a software that they may not necessarily want, or even vice versa, because you do need to determine, number one, what type of software you want, and is that software going to be compatible with the bank that you want. So it goes both ways, but ultimately, you're going to have to pick the software first in order for you to get your bank. So if you know you want to work with Refund Advantage, you have to see what what software is compatible with Refund Advantage before you make your purchase and sign your contract, okay? Because you're not going to be able to just enroll with just going directly to their website. You're going to have to do it through your software. Now, this is so itty bitty. I'm super sorry about this, y'all, but it has a lot of information. You can possibly screenshot it or zoom it in. Or you can probably zoom in on your screen if you're on your phone, but definitely I'm gonna post it in the group and make it a little bit bigger so y'all can see. But this information is, they had not updated this chart since 2020, so I tried my best to update it with the most up-to-date information. But for the most part, this is absolutely accurate. Okay, now with your banks, ultimately, this is going to be determined based upon your software, which ones you can use. One thing I can tell y'all is with Refundo is now their own separate entity, okay? So you cannot use Refundo unless you use their software and unless you go under a service bureau that uses their software, okay? So Refundo kind of is like a one-stop shop. Now, I personally use Refundo for my service bureau, and I completely love it for right now. Like, seriously, like, as far as I have been, everything that I have used them up until this point, what I have done and what I've experienced, I give them 5 stars. Seriously, like, it's very it's a small bank, but they definitely make it a very personable experience or whatever. So if you need a referral, I'm gonna put it on their link tree. If you do want to use, if you don't really can't afford to get the software up front, definitely see me, because I can give you the software that you need. You can have TaxLayer Pro, you can have CrossLink and OLT Pro, and what's the other one, TaxWise. So they offer, and Drake. So you can have 5 different software with Refundo. But definitely let me know. If I'm gonna drop that on their link tree for one of my agents at Refundo, so that you can get that white glove appointment where they walk you through everything and show you how to do it. Refundo has the PTIN pay. Okay, so Refundo has the opportunity for you to be able to pay your PTIN. So service bureaus, this is a game changer. I don't know why if this small bank can do it, I know doggone well Refund Advantage and all them other ones should be able to do it. I don't know why they ain't, but they need to get on board unless they want all their people to jump ship. So Refundo, and I can show y'all that process in just a second, but Refundo has a way for you to ask your clients refunds are coming in. For your people, your downline, your PTIN users, Refundo will pay them directly. So that completely eliminates payroll. Completely eliminates that. That's a stress-free. So as you're getting paid, they're getting paid. So they get daily payouts. As that as the refunds start coming in, your PTIN preparer will get that money, and you can do a percentage split. So if you do 60-40, 50-50, whatever that looks like for you, you're able to do that and set that. If you do a price per return, so if you as the ERO say, hey, I just need $100 off of every return, you're able to do that. So if whether your your PTIN preparer charges $9.99 or $4.99, they will take out $100. Like, that is a game changer. Now, of course, it's fees associated with it. It's a 2.9% or $2.99, whichever one's bigger or smaller. I think it's smaller. Yeah, whichever one's smaller. So at the minimum, you're gonna pay that preparer, and the preparer is going to pay $2.99. So that is a game changer. It just keeps everything in compliance and just in order. You don't have to worry about payroll. Now, with Refundo, they also has a what else? They have a $9,500 advance. It goes all the way up to $9,500. That's the biggest advance tier in the industry, and their lowest starts at $500. So that is like the range. And of course, y'all know this depends upon the client's refund. So most clients get $9,500? No, it depends on their refund, and they can only get up to 75% of their refund. What else? Now with Refundo, this is the biggest thing that people kind of want to know. PTIN users, honestly, this part may not affect you a lot, because ultimately you'll have to choose the bank that your ERO chooses. So EFIN holders, I'm kind of like speaking to y'all. So if you are a first year EFIN holder, as good as Refundo sounds, it may not be your best bet to go with, but it just depends on your situation. So this is where working with a service bureau will come to your advantage, because if you're working with a service bureau and you're a part of, let's say, that union that we just spoke about, the service bureau is able to kind of help you, and that will even go with like Refundo, Refund Advantage for sure. Not really sure about TPG. I don't really use them a whole lot. But if you have if your service bureau that you're with has over a certain volume, then they can extend certain privileges to you based upon that volume of that service bureau that you're with. So everything happens, and it's based upon who you're working with, what type of volume they have, and all of that. But once you get to a certain amount, you're able to offer those privileges to your EFIN holders. So, but if you do not have that, if that volume is not there for you or your service bureau, then just now as a first year ERO, your best bank is going to be Refund Advantage. Like, bottom line, Refund Advantage and EPS. And the reason why I say EPS too is because they are both the same company. Basically, they're sister companies. They are by the same bank. It used to be MetaBank, but now it's Password, if I'm not mistaken. But their back offices look the same. Everything looks the same, because they're funded by the same bank, and they're sister companies. So it's pretty much the same thing. Everything that you're gonna get with Refund Advantage, you're gonna get with EPS. Now, with Refund Advantage, they are the best for your first year EFIN holders. So as a first year EFIN holder, you're going to be able to do in-season advances only, but the only drawback to it is you cannot do debit cards. So you'll be able to offer those advances when the IRS opens up, but you just can't do the debit card. So that's pretty good for a first year EFIN holder. Now, when it comes down to Santa Barbara, the only thing that you're going to be able to do is you're not going to be able to do advances at all as the first year EFIN holder, and you're not going to be able to get like any of the loans and all of that. So the only thing you're going to be able to do is refund transfers. Okay, so that's like kind of the drawback, and that's why I said that the best banks to go with as a first year EFIN holder is Refund Advantage. Now, if you don't do loans, if you don't do loan like the fast cash advances or the refund advance loans, then you really can pick either one of these banks, because that is not a determining factor or a non-negotiable for your brand. But if you rely on that, even as the pre-act, like if you want to offer the pre-act, the first step is to go to your software company and see if it's anything that they can do for you. Like I said, if you're working with a service bureau / software company, sometimes depending on their volume, they may can pull a couple of strings for you, but that's completely a case-by-case scenario, and it may not be. But for some, they can do that. Now, what I was about to say, with if you're not gonna be doing any of the advances and stuff, if that does not, a non-negotiable for you, then any of those banks will work. But the biggest thing for any EFIN holder is to make sure that you are, because just because you can offer these things 1 year does not mean that you're automatically going to be approved for them in the next subsequent years. You have to get approved for this stuff every year. Just like a software renewal, you have to do bank products renewal. So you have to make sure your funding rate stays above 85%. That's the industry standard. Now, during COVID, they knocked it down to 80%. But to be able to offer like the pre-acts and get the tax advances for your office, you need an 85% funding rate. All right. So with that funding rate, that means for every 10 returns that you have, at least 8 of them needs to fund out. So for every 10 returns that you send, you need to get paid for 8 of them. And that's why it's so important for you to watch the quality of the returns that you are pushing through. Some, against my better judgment, I sent out a lot of the $1,400 bank products returns, the stimulus returns. Against my better judgment, I did that. And it kind of almost messed up my funding rate, but thank God it kind of like, they start hitting out of nowhere towards the end of the season, because I was like, man, it took so long for me to get above like 75%, because I sent a lot of the stimulus returns that I was doing. I sent them with a bank product. I just didn't charge anything for them, but yeah, if you have a return that may get hung up, or if it's something that, you don't like, student loans and stuff like that, don't send them with a bank product, because you don't want to mess your funding rates up, because that'll be something that will prevent you from being able to offer those pre-act advances. If you get access to the startup loans in October, you will not be able to get that starting in October if your funding rate is not what it needs to be. So that's also important for you when you have people under you. Make sure that the returns that they are doing will be funded out, which of course we can't control all of that. We can have a return that's compliant, it's good as a whistle, and something still happens, but certain things we can prevent, from happening. Make sure that those returns are quality, that you're certifying all of the credits, that you're doing your due diligence, and the likelihood of them getting funded will be, better if you're doing your due diligence. Now, the next thing is, of course, with your taxpayer loans, with your the refund advance loans, anytime you give out a loan, you got to pay for it. I know that sucks. Now, some of the banks like Republic, some of them offer no cost options. Even Refund Advantage has certain no cost options. But ultimately, as a rule of thumb, if you're going to be giving out a pre-act loan, it's going to cost you roughly $75 to $80, just depending on what bank you go with. And if you do a big volume of people, y'all know that stuff hurt at the beginning of the season, seeing all that money just coming out and one funding. Oh my God. So y'all prepare yourselves for that. We cannot put that fee off onto our clients, period. So if you are one of the ones that's been adding that 75 anytime somebody do a pre-act, or 80 or whatever the case may be, please stop, because that is something that can get you banned from offering bank products. And one thing about it is, just like having like a disciplinary record or a some type of charges or whatever, it will follow you. So if you have been banned from one bank product, it can follow you to the next one. And, ultimately you may not have a bank product to work with. So please make sure that you are not charging your clients for that loan, the in-season one or the pre-act loan. We can't charge them for it at all. the best thing I could tell you with that is to make sure your fees are set to where it does not affect you. I'll just say that. Now, when you are getting any type of startup loans or anything from your bank product, they're going to take that money back at your first funding. So as the money comes, well, the Refund Advantage, what they do is they'll start taking it at 50%. So if you get any type of fee assist, or if you get a loan starting in October, then they're going to take 50% of whatever the prep fees are up until that big drop. So for example, if you have, let's just say you got a $5,000 startup loan, and before that big drop comes in the middle of February, you got $5,000, let's say $1,000 worth of prep fees paid out. They're going to give you $500 and they'll take $500. Okay, so that's how they do it. Now, in that big drop, they'll take all of it to pay for their funding. Now, Refund Advantage does do that. Now, the rest of them, I think they go ahead and take it all the way, like 100% until whatever balances you owe them, until it's paid in full. Now, this is something, I got this question today. Can I get startup loans from multiple banks? The answer is yes, ultimately you can, but number one is against them, because what happens is most of the time they don't really communicate together. They're just God and the truth. But in their terms of service, it is not, you cannot use two banks at one time. So do not get multiple funding with one EFIN. Like if you have one EFIN, that's all you got. And you go and get, I know, like if you have TaxSlayer, you can send like a bank product application for TPG and Refund Advantage. Some people do that just to see, just to do it and just to have that option if they want to switch. You can do that, but do not take loans from both companies. Like that is against the terms of service, and sometimes they will choose not to do business with you if they find out that you have gotten a loan from another company. And you can also get your prep fees garnished for that other loan. So for example, if you got a loan on the same EFIN through another Refund Advantage and TPG, once you start getting those funding rates, you'll see that garnishment come in from TPG or Refund Advantage. They'll take that on whatever EFIN you have that volume on. Even if you have some volume on this one and you owe them for it, don't get yourself caught up in there, y'all. Please, like, just make sure you're gonna have one relationship with one bank per EFIN. Now, if you have multiple locations, of course you can. If you have multiple EFINs, of course you can, but you cannot give multiple loans on one EFIN. All right. Now, another thing a lot of people ask me about with it is with hub testing. What that means with hub testing, basically the IRS kind of like see if their software is going to work for the upcoming season. So they'll start pulling in a little returns like a week before the actual IRS opens, and you'll start seeing acceptance. The IRS start to accept those tax returns. That happens with certain transmitters, some software. So during hub testing, when that happens, you no longer will offer the pre-act advances. These will be the in-season advances. So you'll see that on there, your price structure will change. So for the ones that's going to be waiting on the in season, whether for the personal choice or whether, if you can offer the pre-act, then that will be the option for you. So you can, if your transmitter or if your software company participates in the hub testing, that's what that means. And the last and final thing about the, let me see, I think that's pretty much it with the refund transfer. Of course, every one of them will charge $39.95 for the refund transfer fee. And depending on their state or the second refund transfer, is anywhere between $10 and $14. So ultimately, if your client is going to be getting a state refund transfer and a federal refund transfer, it's going to be that total package for them is going to cost at least $49.95, and it just depends on I think one of them went up though to like $12 to $14. So that's how much they're gonna pay for that total option. Every one of them offers debit cards, which TPG does not offer debit cards anymore, though. They have the client scan the QR code and open up a bank account with GoToBank. So I do recommend you guys, if y'all want to, if you're with TPG, you can go ahead and start those campaigns. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can go ahead and have them create those banking informations, because all you need is their round and account numbers. And I kind of like that better because, you know, you don't have to deal with that check stock and that car stock. But with Refundo, you're going to use, you have the option to use Capital One Bank or BB&T Bank for the check stock. You can get either one check stock that you want to use. With their cards, you use the NetSpend card. So of course, y'all know people love using NetSpend for their refunds because it comes super quick. And that is another thing with Refundo. Like, as soon as the refund is approved and the IRS sends the notification, that usually happens on that Friday, the bank will go ahead and credit that NetSpend card. So some of your clients can see, like, for that big drop that usually happens on that Wednesday of the middle of February, with your clients, they can possibly get their money that Friday or that Sunday night. So that's a good plus, you know, for those that offer that NetSpend card. And Republic offers NetSpend as well, but they don't credit it that same day, unfortunately. Refund Advantage offers the faster money cards. This year, they're Discover cards. And Discover is not offered everywhere. So y'all, please, I had clients calling me, this card don't work nowhere. Where can I use this card in? So if this is something that, you know, you might have to think about with those debit cards, or just let your clients know it's a Discover card. It's only going to be used where Discover is allowed. And no, they cannot put those temporary cards on Cash Out. And no, they're not going to get a card with their name on it with Refund Advantage unless they get a non-tax deposit. So please let them know that if they lose that temporary card, then they're gonna have to pay for another one, obviously, to get it. But if they're not gonna get just a card with their name on it to you know, unless they actually use that card and get some type of load or a deposit with their name on it or whatever. So that's the drawbacks and the pros and the cons to each one of those cards. But the biggest things is, if you're going to be giving these cards out, you have to give them the disclosures and make sure that they're signing it. Usually that comes in the bank, in your software, like it's going to be in the actual tax returns, so you don't have to worry about that. But just make sure that they get a copy of it so that you can cover and protect yourself. And that's actually what we go over tomorrow, going through that process. Now, let me, what time is it? I'm just talking. Let me go through the rest of this. But bank products is a lot of stuff to talk about, though, because some people don't really, you know, have somebody that's telling them all these things in detail. And for whatever reason, some people like to withhold information. But hey, it's out there. And if it's out there, I'm going to give it to you. If I know it, I'm going to give it to you. So let me go to y'all got any questions? I'm sorry if y'all been asking something. I just been running my mouth, and the Zoom call, the Zoom thing is not on here. Let me see if I can find okay, I don't think I see in the chat. Oh, dang, I'm sorry. Yes, it is. Let me go up here and read these questions, y'all. Damn, I'm sorry, y'all. It's a whole bunch of them. Damn, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to go through this again. I'm sorry, y'all. I hope somebody was kind of answering them in the question. I think I seen Jasmine do it. Thank you for that. Y'all, Jasmine is a God-sent angel. I swear to God. Thanks. Okay. We're setting up a payroll system, offset the rate. So this is what I do. I got the questions up right now. So this is what I will do. I will definitely go through the questions at the end, y'all. But now I got it up. So if I see it come up through here, I will answer it. I just feel like, oh, Lord. Okay. So the basic office needs, this is, of course, the simple stuff. This is the kind of no-brainers that people need. But some of this stuff on here, I didn't even think about, like a shredder. I didn't even think about that. And cleaning supplies. I didn't even think about that until I let somebody, kind of go through this list with me. So laptop, of course, you need a laptop or a computer. Now, what I would suggest too, if you kind of, if you share a computer with somebody, definitely get that thing encrypted or something so that, you Once you start filing taxes and getting access to all this information, like, you are liable for these people's information. And that's what Miss Dion, that's one of the things she'll be talking about, like cybersecurity and stuff. She actually went through a break-in before, and it's certain things that that I didn't even know that we had to do if we actually had somebody information and it has been if it has been like in a part of like a data breach or something like that. So this is some of the things that she'll be talking to y'all about on that day. Now, the internet connection, of course, y'all know that's super easy. Y'all know we need the internet to do this stuff. Even if you have a desktop version of a software, you need the internet to be able to transmit the returns. Telephone or cell phone, you do need to be able to call your clients. Even if you have like a completely virtual setup, have that option available for some of your people that don't like all that tech. This is one of the things that I kind of had assumptions about, and I had to kind of check myself at the door, because I had the assumption that everybody was tech savvy. Everybody is not. It's some people out here still with a flip phone, so they can't download an app or do nothing on no intake form with a flip phone. Now, honestly, you do have the option to decline. If you don't want to deal with that or whatever, you do have the option to decline. But I still do be a little empathetic towards that kind of population. Usually it's, Lord, I don't want to offend anybody. Lord knows I'm not. But usually it's kind of like our older populations. They don't, want to take the time to learn, or they just don't care, or they tried, they just can't get it. Lord knows my grandma like that. She just be trying so hard. Lord knows she do, but sometimes she just can't get it. So we have to, use those outlets for those populations that may not be able to. My stepfather is blind, so a lot of stuff that he used the telephone, I have to get on the phone with him. Like, we can't text back. Well, I take that back. He learned how to text, y'all. He got him a phone that can do the text to speech, so we be texting now, even though it don't always transcribe to what he trying to say. But just be sensitive towards those things as well. Now, a printer and a scanner, you can do that. Have that in your office. Even if you have a home office, even if it's the office that's going to be in your home, get you a printer and get you a scanner, because if you are the type of person like me, sometimes I have to like look at it and print everything off. I know that's kind of redundant in a virtual office, but I still do keep paper files, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I have been in a situation where I lost my files, like I lost access to my files, and I vowed that would never happen again. So I always have like a backup plan for the backup plan in case those two backup plans fail. Okay, so always have some, like, you can have a printer and a scanner if you need that, and if you need those options in your office. If you're gonna be printing checks, you need a printer. So make sure you have that. Shredder. The shredder is super important because we just can't throw people information in the garbage. This is something that I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was Faith Matlock Johnson. I think she shared something. I'm kind of vaguely remembering it, but it was a link about shredding, and it has to be a certain type, if I'm not mistaken, or it's a certain type of way that we have to discard it. But definitely, we just can't throw people's stuff in the garbage, because we have to always think about data security. Somebody can easily go in the trash and unwad it, and now they got social security numbers and all of this stuff. Pen, paper, of course, desk supplies. If you anything like me, you got pens and stuff, all this stuff everywhere. So you definitely need that. Voicemail, if you need voice. Who still leave? People do still leave voicemail. So you may have a voicemail just so if you have that population of people that they can leave a message for you. Storage space. If you are going to be keeping paper files, you need an adequate storage space with a lock and key. So if also, little known fact, that y'all know that if we offer cards and checks and all of that, the stock has to be under lock and key. So definitely, even if you don't have a file cabinet, get you a one of those little safes. They're like $40 at Walmart, or some even cheaper than that on Amazon. You can keep your cards and your check stock locked up. Mail supplies. If you have clients that you see all over the United States of America, you're going to have to mail them checks in the event that they use checks if they don't have a bank account. Or you also have to keep in your mind, sometimes your clients may give you the wrong routing number or the wrong account number, or you may do a mistype and mistype the route number or the account number, or that, the information might get lost in transcription. We are dealing with software and we are dealing with humans, and both of them tend to have failures and tend to make mistakes. Even the best of the software tends to make mistakes sometimes. So have that check stock. Even if you don't want to deal with checks, even if you don't want to issue checks, you can either have that check stock in your office or in your home, so that if those returns get rejected, you can give your client their check, or you can completely be hands off. One of my best friends, she don't deal with checks, she don't deal with cards. She let the bank deal with that. You can absolutely have the bank itself, Refund Advantage itself, mail out any type of rejection. So if you have a bank account that's been rejected, one of your clients' refund been rejected from a bank account, Refund Advantage can mail that check to them. And you can absolutely do that if you want to, and that kind of relieves your your liability on there. So, but if you do, make sure you keep it under lock and key. And cleaning supplies. If you are going to be seeing anybody in person, the cold and flu season is real. That stuff is real. COVID is still out here. It's real. I don't know what type of super stomach virus this is going around now, but it ain't right, and I don't want to know more. So y'all, please, if you got an office or brick and mortar, Lysol is still gonna be your best friend. Microban is still gonna be your best friend. You might have to pray, do some holy oil if you're into that, sage, whatever you're into, to keep yourself from getting sick, because this stuff is still real out here. All right. Now, let me see. Let me go back through that question. Hold on 1 second. We burned the shredded paper. Oh, y'all burning. I had a signature pad. Have a accountability take a day for minus in the chat. That's a good idea. I'ma write that down. I had a signature pad. It came in handy. Y'all like that signature pad? My one of my friends, she got hers in the mail. That is it Topaz? I think that's the name of it. I never had a signature pad. My allergies doing the most. Got the cross cutting shredder. They're like $80. Micro shredders. Burning in your grill. She said, yes, voicemail is still a thing. Amazon has an inexpensive digital key lock, and they have digital saves. Yeah, Amazon. I gotta stay off Amazon. Bleach. Yeah, bleach is still your best friend. Like, I can't nothing beat some bleach. Your local banks or credit unions typically have shred days. That is absolutely true. I saw that in the newspaper. I was up here looking for someone to stay, and I saw that they was having a shred day. So that is absolutely true. When virtual, do I have to update my business address on my LLC and all other business docs on my personal address? No, get a virtual address. Get a virtual address so that you cannot put your personal address on any of those documents. And even when you do your PTIN, put your virtual address on your PTIN. Y'all, I be having so many. I made a mistake in putting my my actual address on my PTIN thing, and I've been getting so many letters in the mail from software companies trying to sell me software and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, how are these people getting my address? And it didn't dawn on me that they got it because when I renewed my PTIN, I put my actual home address instead of that. So get the virtual before applying. You can change it, but if you don't have the LLC yet, definitely do that. Definitely get it first, because that stuff is public record. So it'll be on the internet for the world to see. And even though some stuff is public record for the world to see, but you want to avoid that as much as possible. Yep. You want to avoid that as much as possible. I have one with the IRS because an audit at the office, and I'm working for the home address. So they have one like where you can have, okay, so you have an actual office address, and then you have your mailing address. So your mailing address is going to be the office where you get all your mail, and that's what's going to be published. But your actual office address is going to be where like that could be your home address, that can be wherever you're transmitting from. That needs to be where the physical address. But for your mailing address and what's going to be publicly, that can be your virtual. Okay, so next, options. So if you don't want to put your home address to your clients, you can use your virtual one. Like that's going to be your mailing address and that's going to be your business address. But for your physical address, you can use your home address if you want to. That is completely fine. Or if it's a situation where the home address shows, if you can afford it, like if you can't afford it, you can do either Regis or WeWork. With that, that's an actual co-working location that you can go into. So in the event of an audit, you can always go there. You can always, go and rent a desk, or you can go sit right there in there. So that is, that's another option. That's the one that I couldn't think of the term earlier, but that's the one that I use, REGUS, and it's an actual location, and they have multiple locations all over the United States. So wherever you travel to, it may be a Regis there. So you can go there and use a meeting room, use a co-working space, use a desk, and a conference room. So yeah, that's WeWork is one, Regis is one, Industrious is one, and you can use it's $22 a month, and you can use those addresses as a physical address, and you can also receive mail there. Yep. So the next step on our checklist. Yep, you can go there. So any event that you need to actually go to a location, most of your audits are being done virtually now. Like they have people mail in. I didn't help and they actually picking up, y'all. Seriously. This past November all the way up until now, I have assisted with at least 15 tax pro audits. Thank God it's nobody. Well, only 2 were connected to me. And each one of them had their own EFIN. So thank God, Lord knows. I don't mean to be insensitive, but thank God they were not one that was up under me as a PTIN holder. But that is, all of them were virtual now. None of them, they had to actually come there. They didn't actually have to come there. No, I'm just trying to remember. None of them actually had to come there. They had to mail. They gave them the clients that they needed, and they had to mail they had to mail the documents. So the Penal Regis costs $88 a month. Yeah, it's $22 where I am, and that's in Garland, Texas. So the efficiency tools, these are gonna be your tools that's gonna help you be more effective in your office, help you save time, help you save energy, help you save money, and it's also going to help you be a better professional. It's going to help your client experience having a better experience, a better client experience, because you'll be able to save time. Everything will be good. By a show of hands, you can drop the emoji, you can say me, you can put ... you can cover your face. By a show of hands, how many people have ever been in a situation, even if you're not in it now, but how many people have ever been in a situation where you have tried to run everything by yourself? Now, y'all gonna have to tell the truth now, because I don't want to be the only crazy person on here. Okay, so if you are like that, if you are like me, trying to do everything by yourself, trying to, send all these emails, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, this list is going to be the list that's going to help you out the most. Now, with this list, that's the reason why I got to stay tuned on there, because we're not going to go through each one of these today. It's 2 whole days set aside for this information. That's going to be today, and that's going to be on Wednesday. So on tomorrow, that's going to be tomorrow. I'm sorry. That's going to be tomorrow, and it's going to be on Wednesday. So on tomorrow, we'll start with the professional tax prep process and help you get that lined out for you, because ultimately that's going to be determinant upon what you prefer, how you're going to see your clients, what software you're going to use, if any, what type of communication tools you're going to use, and how often you're going to use them. So even though it may be a little widespread, because of course everybody has their own process, but with those pages in the workbook, And in your ebook, you'll be able to kind of break that process down by what works for you. I know that was like a lot of words, but you'll be able to break down your professional process in the way when we go through it. And you'll hear from Jessica. Of course, she is a tax dom expert. You'll hear from Shakara. Shakara is a job form expert. And I'll also be giving you a couple of tips and tricks on some other platforms that you can use, the free versions as well as the paid versions, because one thing I know is that everybody can't afford to go and spend $1,500 to, get a CRM. And that's perfectly fine because we are all at different stages in our business. But that does not mean that you can't have some aspect of your business automated, or some aspects of your business being able to run on their own, or you're not going to be able to be efficient. Okay. So just because you're alone in your business, or you may not have the capital to be able to hire somebody, or you may not, be able to take that step yet, you still can use some of these tools to be efficient. And one of the biggest things is that you have to really take the time, and this is what a lot of people, really don't have, is time, honestly, to really identify what it is in your business that is being repetitive. What is those things that you find yourself doing over and over and over again? These are the things that may be able to be delegated to somewhere else, or to somebody else, or you can delegate to a software or some type of program. And that's some of the things that we're going to be talking about. Well, that's all the things we're going to be talking about on Tuesday and on Wednesday. Okay. So with real quick, with your CRM, that is going to be anything that helps you manage your clients. Okay. Now, contrary to popular belief, some people feel like CRMs really aren't needed. You have your process, you can do it. If it's working for you, what's the term people say? If it's not broke, don't fix it. That may very well be true. However, if you want to, kind of really scale, and if you don't want to have to keep hiring a whole lot of people to do certain tasks, you can replace that for, certain software. So this is, with your CRMs, that kind of help you keep things organized. And one of the biggest things I learned this year is that this is in depth. Unfortunately, it's inevitable. No matter how hard, we try to fight it, no matter how much we push it to the back of our mind, no matter how much, we don't really think about it on a day-to-day basis, death is inevitable. Lord, knock on wood, but we just never know when that may happen. And for some of us who have teams, some of us who have, let's say, hundreds of clients, even if you got 30 clients, if right now today, how many of y'all can literally say, if something happened to you today, or, it may not be a situation where you die, but it could be a situation where you may be down for a couple of days, it might, whatever that situation is, you have to be realistic and honest with yourself and say, could somebody come right in, and would it be business as usual, or would everything have to stop? I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know about the situation that happened to one of my mentees. She unfortunately got murdered. So she was right on the verge of building her team. She had like over 100 people up under her, a lot of franchise offices that she was opening up this year. Like, this was really supposed to be her year, and she was untimely murdered. And they're really, how could you pick up those pieces? Could somebody come in and be able to pick that up and in your business and be able to say, okay, this is what we need to do. Here's the policies. Let's execute this, or let's execute it for this year and close it on out. Do you have a policy in place for, in the event that something happens to you? Here's XYZ. Here's the steps that I need y'all to take. This is the type of things that we have to think about and prepare about. And when you stay ready, you never have to get ready. And this is something that I know, if you didn't think like me, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a big baby. I'm scared of death. I don't want to even talk about it. But when that situation happened, it made me think, because I'm like, my God, it's a lot of people that depend on me. It's a lot of people that their business depends on the health of my business. So I have to make sure that these SOPs are in place, that everything that goes on, that it has some sort of protocol or some sort of policy. So this next week, this upcoming week, those are the things that we're going to be doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So after we go through talking about all of the tools, how they work, how to set them up, Then we do our policies, our SOPs, because not only do you have to have a cybersecurity or a data policy, you should. I encourage everybody, no matter if it's just you right now with 5 clients, you never know how big your business will get. And if you honestly are at a better standpoint or a better time in your business to build those SOPs than people like me. You got a brand that's growing, that is continuously growing, but your foundation is in order. So you actually are in a better position than some of us are. So definitely that's what we're going to be going over. Now, with your email marketing platform, this is going to be a way for you to nurture and talk to and kind of love on your clients. Okay, this is your way. You can educate them through an email. You can keep them updated. You can make them feel good, and you can just keep down. The biggest thing is you want to, especially during the season, you want to keep down on a lot of those repetitive phone calls and those repetitive, I call them time busters, because what happens is you may get on the phone with your client, and a 5-minute conversation may turn into an hour. And that hour, you could have gotten 10 tax returns done on a low level, and you just dealing with that one client. So those emails and those text messages, marketing and those programs will help you kind of automate that process and keep your clients updated, because sometimes all they want is an update. All they want is to know, did you get my information? Did you get that text I sent you? Or did you get that document that I uploaded? So if you have a system in place that moves along with you and also moves along with them, then it'll help cut that stuff in half. Like, seriously, it'll almost cease to exist, honestly. Like this past tax season, I use a combination of Cognito Form and Active Campaign. Now, Active Campaign is a learning curve for a lot of people. Some people can't use it, but it worked good for me. And that process worked with me. And as I worked, as my team worked, it gave the client email updates and text message updates. And that cut down on a lot of, hey, I sent my stuff. Did you get it? Hey, what's next? I signed my form. What's next? So that worked better for me. And that's what I'm going to show y'all how to do. That's what Jessica's going to show you how to do, just with different programs. Now, with your virtual intake form and your questionnaire, honestly, you're going to have some form of intake process. That's going to be your initiation. And I don't want to jump ahead of myself, so I'm going to stop right there. But these are the tools together when combined, or when you have one tool that does everything, that's going to help you make your office the shit. And I'm sorry for anybody that's offended by curse words. I'm trying my best to be a better person when it comes down to that. But when I get emotional, I use emotional words. Okay. So when you have all of this stuff working in your office, it's going to free you up from being a slave to your computer. I don't know about y'all, but being booked and busy is no longer my goal. That term, I used to use it so much, to the point where it was kind of like embedded, and I felt unproductive if I wasn't, I gotta do this. But I no longer want to be booked and busy. I want to have systems in place so that I can go be with my family. So I can, when life happens, because I have 5 children. Somebody knows I always snotty, somebody out, and my daughter, God knows, she gets into any and everything. So I have to have time for life to happen, but I can't do that if it's just me, or if it's just me and my team, and we don't have no systems or no nothing in place to be able to do this. So if that sounds like you, then these next 2 days are going to be very, very beneficial for you. Now, the last couple of things, all of these tools, some of these will be with your software. So like your EFIN, your client portal, your mobile app, some of that will be with your software. So you don't necessarily have to go out and purchase that. And Lord knows you don't have to go out and purchase each individual one of these. That is I don't think nobody should do that. Like, go out and purchase a CRM, an email marketing platform, a separate SMS platform. You don't want to do that. You want to have something that works all together to where it can send out those emails for you. It can send out those SMS messages for you. It can send out any type of reminders that you need them to do, and also have an intake process. So that's the whole purpose of it, because that's what I did at first. I ain't even gonna lie. I had like every last thing on that list. I probably had a program for it, and that was just madness. That was just ridiculous. So the goal is to have one thing that can replace everything. All right. So and the last checklist, the last one on here for our preparers and EROs is the legal side of it. And we kind of went over more some of this, but I'll briefly go through this. Your E&O insurance. This is going to be your errors and your omissions. It kind of saves you in the event of any type of negligence or any type of errors that you make on a return. Now, this does not cover theft. This does not cover any type of, illegal actions that take place or fraud and stuff like that. So that it's not going to cover that, but it will cover you in the event that, let's say you made a mistake and put a 9 instead of 1, and it caused the client to have to owe or something of that nature. That may be where your insurance will kind of kick in. Now, you also may have to have a state certificate to offer refund advance loans. This is something that a lot of people did not know, and honestly, Republic is the only bank that I know that will kind of require its preparers or EROs to get that certification. Now, is it the same for all of the offices? For all of the banks? I honestly don't know. But what I do know is that if one bank requires it, then I'm pretty sure it may be a requirement. It's like $50, so that's not hard or a whole lot of money to have to dedicate, but definitely the state of Texas, if you are in Texas, you are supposed to, I'm gonna just loosely throw that out there. I will say do your own research, but I know for a fact that Republic requires their EROs to have that insurance, and I put the link in the link tree as well, but this is the site right here. It's the OCCC. So if you engage in any type of business of preparing tax returns and you offer a refund anticipation loan or RAL, that's what the term is, you have to get that licensing. So if you do not have Republic Bank and you have like one of the other ones, I would definitely kind of just ask around just to see, if that is something that you need to do. Let me go back to the prison. Now, Legal Shield is another thing that I would recommend for a couple of people. So, like, if you have especially if you have a team, because you have lawyers on standby for your business. They have a professional side, and they also have a business, a personal, like for you and your family, but they also have a business side. So you have like a team of lawyers that you can call on, that they can write contracts for you. They can overlook contracts that you may need to sign. So, and it's very inexpensive. It's like $50. That's the minimum, like $49 if I'm not mistaken. But they also have some packages that go even higher. If you need, if you have a legal dispute, if you have to send somebody like sue somebody, cease and desist, stuff like that. So I would definitely, if not legal, if you don't have a lawyer like on standby for your business, definitely have like Legal Shield or something so that it can kind of protect you in the event that you need those services. LegalZoom is also another option. This is just for that's a good lender or vendor for you to do trademarks on. Like I said, you can do it yourself, but something like that of that magnitude, I would definitely reach out to someone that is well versed in it, and that's what they do. And that is one of the ones where I got my first trademark through LegalZoom. So business insurance for storefronts, and we have another slide on that in just a second, so I'll pop on that in just a minute. Now, trademarking for your brand. You can trademark your name, any type of tagline that you use, any type of your logo, you can trademark that. And like I said, it's up to you on when you feel as though you need to get a trademark. But I would definitely still, even if I ain't made $1, I would trademark my brand, because first of all, y'all already know, I'm pretty sure a couple of y'all probably have been victim of it. But people like to take other people's stuff, like whether it's just simple as a Facebook post, or they can turn around and take all your content. So if you have that trademark in place, you can press the issue or whatever. And, you know, there are some terms, even in the tax industry, that are trademarks. So make sure you're protecting yourself. If you take that brand to heart, if you know you put your blood, sweat, tears, your thoughts into that, put a trademark on it so that you can protect your brand. Now, you also may want to do a copyright. That's optional. That's for anybody that may do any type of print or virtual content. I know a lot of y'all do like podcasts, blogs, stuff like that. Written books, ebooks. You might need to think and consider about getting a copyright just to protect yourself. You know, you work hard to do this. You work hard to you're the one sitting at the computer typing up this content, doing all this stuff, doing these podcasts, doing these YouTube videos. You need to protect your stuff, because if not, then it leaves you too vulnerable to being able to be plagiarized. And that's so frustrating when you know it's something that you spent your time on. And, you know, because time is almost more valuable than money now. Like, getting that time back that you lost, you can't get it back, and money can't replace that. So definitely make sure you're protecting your brand. Now, for the brick and mortars, you may need to have some sort of general liability insurance. And make sure that you're whoever you're getting insurance from. I think we got an insurance person on here. I think I saw Andrea on here earlier, but I don't know nothing about no insurance. But what I do know is, I'm sorry, I don't. But one thing about it, I do know some insurances only cover people. Some insurances only cover actual items. So you definitely got to make sure that you're reading this stuff and that you are knowing what your policy covers. It was a situation where one of my friends, she does taxes. She had a brick and mortar storefront, and somebody ran into it and completely just messed it up. But the insurance that she had only covered the people that came in there, and nobody got hurt. So the insurance did not cover all of those damages. So please make sure that you're reading your policies, that your insurance, I think they call them brokers, insurance agents. I don't know nothing about no insurance, but whatever they call them, you got to ask them so that they can tell you exactly what your plan covers. And here's that E&O insurance. This is what I was telling y'all about. It covers errors, missing filing deadlines, and any accusations or anything of negligence. And cyber liability insurance, that is another one. This is gonna be best for data breaches. Anything that happens to where you might have clients, let's just say this is an example, right? You logged on to your tax software at Starbucks. You're sitting at Starbucks, you're getting some work done, and unbeknownst to you, somebody is on Starbucks's Wi-Fi, and they're stealing all the data from your computer, because that does happen. People do it all the time. That's why I don't sign on to my software on public Wi-Fi. Never again. I don't do that. I don't even care what firewalls and all that. I don't do that. So that will be a situation where that's a data breach, and your clients could file a class action lawsuit against you, right? So you want to make sure that you have some type of insurance in place, like cyber insurance, especially for anybody that is 100% virtual. Even if you're not 100% virtual, but definitely if you are, make sure you have that cyber insurance. And I'm gonna drop on that Linktree the the lady that does the cyber security. Faith, if you know her name, can you pop her on here? I think because you gave me the referral. If Faith is still on here, please let me know that lady name so that we can I can put her information on there, because she does good with cyber insurance. Now, the next and final checklist for today is for my service bureaus. Now, service bureaus, we're gonna have, if you looked at your workbook, I'm going to do a full day dedicated to nothing but y'all. And this is going to be something that I need you. You're going to have to show proof of you having an active service bureau to get on the call. Typically because like I want to keep it specifically for the service bureaus. But this is just a little simple checklist for you. You need some sort of EFIN software for your contracts and your onboarding. You want to make that process as seamless as possible for your partners. Like you want it to be where if somebody's going to your website and they purchase your software at like 1 in the morning, you want them to be able to start the process of onboarding automatically, you know, or even if they're looking for software and they see your ad on Facebook, right? And they see, let's just say, for instance, they're not even looking for software. They see an ad on Facebook. If it's no way for you to capture their lead and capture them in, then how are you going to, you know, obtain people like this? So you have to make sure you have something for them to be able to get their software contracts and your onboarding forms. You also need some sort of training platform for them to go back and watch videos, stuff like that. And of course, you want to invest in something like Google, Zoom or Google Meet or something like that, so that you can do your trainings and your meetings with your team. All right. So that is the end of our checklist for today. I was supposed to be deleted that. So at the end of the day, so with our task for today, the first thing that you guys were supposed to do was to complete, I'm opening my book now, was to complete your pre-challenge assessment. In that pre-challenge assessment, it was a couple of pages about your business, evaluating your business, going through with all of your services, what do you offer, and it's also a pre-questionnaire that you are supposed to answer about how company are you regarding the tax season, how good do you feel about your software and things of that nature. So the whole purpose of that was to kind of see what your feelings were before you took the challenge. And after the challenge, you're going to be asked like those same questions and then some, so you can see like how well was it effective for you. How, you know, did the things that you learned, were they actually good for you? Did it make you feel more confident and stuff like that? So I'm about to end this real quick. So for today, go to, after you are done with this, one second, y'all, I can't do two things at one time, I'm sorry. So after you are done with your tasks and their accountability groups, make sure that you go in and like take it a step further with your team, kind of get your game plan together and how you are going to incorporate the things that you need for your list. So whatever on this list that you need for the upcoming season or whatever you need to implement, you can talk it with your group leaders and the members of your group on how you're going to implement that and how you're going to make it to where you are going to take it serious. Because one thing I can say about myself is that sometimes I can have good intentions and I'm motivated, but sometimes the follow through don't necessarily be good for me. So that's another reason why those accountability groups are there, is to like, you can stay and you can hold each other accountable while holding yourself accountable. Like, hey, I did my homework. Did you do yours? Like, no, girl, I ain't did it yet, but I'm about to do it when I put the kids to bed. That type of thing. So make sure that you're keeping up with all of your homework, because this is ultimately going to help you, and at the end it's going to all make sense. So open question and answer. I'm about to pop this screen off real quick so I can have any questions for y'all to ask. Let me make sure my sound is on. Okay, so my sound is on. Do you guys have any questions for me? Charity Johnson. Yep, that's her name. Charity Johnson. I don't know why I was thinking of Charity Greenleaf. That's exactly what was coming to my mind. I knew it was Charity. I just did not want to embarrass myself on here, and I just did it anyway. Charity Johnson. That's her name. So, can you shred the refund advantage checks? Yes, ma'am. You absolutely can. Because I don't think any more checks are going to be printed out this year for refund advantage. Y'all can unmute your mic if you want to ask any questions.
I don't have a question, but I did have when we was talking about the CRMs, there's one, I think you and I talked about it, Sweet Dash. They have a $19 a month version, and it provides a full portal. So if anybody is interested in that, they do have that. And I absolutely love it. It replaces a lot of stuff.
They're actually running a special again. I'll tell you the secret about Sweet Dash. If they forget to turn off their sale, so if you have the email, you can always go back to them until they have the new sale. But they're selling them they're doing their sweet keys right now, and you can buy the lifetime deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you need someone to set it up, I'm telling y'all, I have been through just about everybody who said they know how to set up Sweet Dash, I have spent literally about $15,000 on trying to get my Sweet Dash set up right. And I finally found somebody who used to work in the engineering and building and tech department at Sweet Dash, who actually now is a VA, and she sets up Sweet Dashes. So if you end up using Sweet Dash, then and you don't want to set it up, I worked with her over the past, probably from the summer to now, and we built a way for we created 2 turnkey ways to build out your Sweet Dash for the tax side, bookkeeping, whatever you needed to do.
Yeah, I built it out for my tax season, but I may need that. I'm still trying to figure out the bookkeeping and payroll part, because I do bookkeeping and payroll is my bread and butter. So those are my main 2 businesses. So I want to build it out for that. So I might need to, can you send me your information or something?
Yeah, I got you. We've been playing with Sweet Dash So Tough, and
I love it. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I actually I think Andrea told me about Sweet Dash earlier. I did a what you call it, a free trial for it, like maybe over the summer. It was it was like had to be like July, August up in the area, but it was so robust. And also Kimberly Ann, she told me about, like, she showed me her set up for Sweet Dash, and I think Quatasha Roberts, she's using it too. So I'm a big fan of Lifetime. Like, one time, that's it. Like, because I hate paying bills, so I don't want to deal with no monthly fees.
You guess how much their Lifetime version of their Pinnacle is normally? It's like $4,000, and that's their top tier. You get everything planned. Just $4,000. You could do that in the season. Like, my goal is to get the Lifetime plan for the season, but like she said, with the sale, the Lifetime is like $2,000 now.
Oh wow! It was just $150.
Well, no, it's $150 for the year. Like, they have different tiers. They have like a $19 tier, a $40 tier, and a $99 tier. So they have like the starter. But even with the $19 tier, you still get email contact, you still get email marketing, you still get a full portal, you still get file management. There's still a lot of things you get. It's just with the Pinnacle, you get a lot more. And I do full financial services, insurance, and everything. So I wanted it the full thing. But I thought about you when I saw they even have a learning management system built in, like Canvas or Teachable or Kajabi. It's built in there.
Right. Yeah, they definitely have the e-learning platform on there. I saw it. I actually grabbed the quite a few Sweet Keys on there. I'm actually getting them built out right now. I was gonna offer them to my service bureaus to have like a whole build out for them as an option, but definitely for next year, that's gonna be top service for the service bureau. But that is right. We mentioned how many get lost with trials. Yeah, that's another thing though, with that dealing with different services and different, that's what turned me off from Tax Dome, was because it's a learning curve. Like, it gets kind of, oh my God, hectic trying to actually purchase something. And then you got to turn around and set it up. And then you got to turn around and use it. And then you got to hope that the people that you are setting up for, that they're going to be able to use it. And, it's not going to be too difficult for them. So that's the kind of drawback for a couple of anything that you're going to use, because you got to hope that it's going to be worth it for you. And it's not going to be too much of a learning curve for you and your clients.
Right.
Let me go to a few of these questions. Let me pop back up on here. Let me see if anyone can give you an ebook.
And anybody in Georgia who needs general liability insurance or E&O, Raven can gift you my information.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a plug it on that link for you. So the E&O insurance, I'm writing it down so I won't forget. E&O insurance in Georgia. Hopefully I can find a couple of people like that can do it for not necessarily just Georgia, but all over, or at least the parts where most of the tax businesses are in the group. So we can have a one-stop shop. But definitely for E&O insurance, if you're not in Georgia, what is it? Hiscox. That's who I get my
Mhm.
E&O from. And it's another one. I think
Next is really good too.
Nix.
Next, NEXT, Next Insurance.
Okay.
Also, another thing that people don't think about is if you travel around to visit tax clients and pick up and drop off, you might want to check into commercial auto. It might save you some money in your auto insurance. Also, if you use your car to market for your business, just check into it. It might be a bit cheaper.
Okay. I didn't even think about that. I didn't
I
even
was
think
gonna
about
say
that.
I was gonna say if you driving around in your car anyway for business, do it. And I learned it the hard way when I was in real estate and we backed into somebody, but because we were officially doing business, my insurance wanted to go back and forth with me and they wanted to actually go against my broker. So if you got like people that are under you or employees and they out running errands for you, you
Oh yeah,
might
that's
want to look at
business
the
owner
commercial
policy.
side because it can go against your business.
That falls under business owner policy. You can have an endorsement for when your employees go out, an auto endorsement under that policy as a part of a package where it covers your employees when they're doing business for the when they're doing errands and stuff for the business. It'll cover them when they're out, in addition to their insurance.
Gotcha. That's good to know. I'm gonna make sure I make a post about that too in the group. Brittany says, where do I start? Will all fingerprint places be free? I'm in Chicago, so I just wanted to be sure because I got them done in March and I had to pay for them. So after September, they changed the EFIN process. So now it's free no matter where you go. So those fingerprints, if you didn't get your EFIN issued by September 30th, then unfortunately those fingerprints are not valid anymore. So you're gonna have to go through the post. Which specific bank should we choose if we are a new EFIN holder under your software? So honestly, that's gonna be determined based upon what you want to do because it depends on what bank you want to go with. You can either do Refund Advantage or Refundo. Either or you will be able to offer whatever you want to offer. Another question, what do you think is the best way to branch out into yearly tax services to do quarterly taxes? The best way to branch out into yearly tax service to do. Okay, you might have to break that down for me. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep last night. If you could break that down just a little bit more for me, I can answer it. She said her clients have been spoiled for 24 seasons. Yes, Lord. Is definitely cheaper insurance. Drop your link or contact info. I use Hiscox or Interested. Okay, Andrea, drop your link in the comments so they can. Oh, I see it now. This may sound stupid, but do your vehicle have to be in your business name for the commercial insurance? I don't know nothing about insurance. Andrea have to answer that.
No, it does not have to be your business name.
So as long as you use it
not
to do
Georgia.
any business, that what you said. Like as long as you use it to do any business.
Different carriers have different qualifications. Like we were able to save a guy money. He was a minister. And he came in and said, well, I need some car insurance. And, ran a personal passenger policy and it was kind of high. And the guy was like, well, didn't you say you were a minister? So we went to our commercial side and we put the industry as ministry, and he was able to get a much cheaper policy. If you're a hair braider and you travel or mobile nail tech, there's ways your agent can word it. But yeah, certain industries are covered. Now, certain things aren't covered. Like if you're a daycare center, you're transporting kids. Depending on the carrier, they may not want to take the risk. But usually what I've seen for tax services and real estate and stuff, you usually can get a commercial policy pretty reasonable for like business services like we are.
Gotcha. I never thought about that. I don't drive, honestly. So I never even thought about having business insurance for doing the stuff that we do. I don't even see tax clients in person either though. But that's a good thing though. I'm writing this down so I can put it in the notes for the after call.
And of course, errors and omissions, of course, that's a no-brainer. And cyber, I don't think we do cyber liability. Yeah, at my job we don't do it, cyber liability, but I can get appointed outside of there since they don't offer that at work. But yeah, I know a couple vendors for the cyber liability too, a couple carriers.
Well, I definitely drop your information in the group so that they can reach out. Does anybody else have any more questions before we wrap up for the day? Tomorrow, we're going to go over the first step of workflows, onboarding, stuff like that. We'll go through with the professional process, like your actual tax prep process. And tomorrow we'll have Jessica Smith. She's gonna come on and talk about tax dome for the last hour of the class. And the first hour will be just, informational and kind of giving you an overview of everything. And then on Wednesday, we'll have Shakara, and she's gonna go over job form and how robust, like usually, honestly, job form has came a long way. It used to just be this small little e-form thing, but now it has its own automations. It has its own app per se, and it's just doing what it's supposed to right now. So the way she has that stuff set up for her tax office is it amazes me for real, because I did not know that job form did all of that. So she'll do that on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we'll do, let me go to the page. So Thursday, we'll also go over SOPs and all of that as it pertains to your tax office. So getting that, your policies in place, getting all of that you need done for your office so that, hey, if anything happens or when it's time for you to hire, when it's time for you to build a team, you can actually have those policies in place so that, and also if you want to one day franchise, if you want to one day open up multiple offices or take your office from virtual to a brick and mortar, you'll be able to do so because you have that framework and that blueprint. So that's what we'll be going over on that Thursday. And then on the Friday, we'll do that's going to be due diligence. And I wish I didn't pick such a crazy day to do the due diligence, because I do know that a lot of people are, that y'all be on Fridays, that's like the weekends. So myself included, but I'm going to sacrifice my Friday so that we can do that. And that's going to be the day that Garrett Cole comes on. He's going to talk about due diligence and compliance. So everything that you need to have for your tax office when it comes down to doing tax returns and the documents that you need to retain, everything that you need to get from your clients, how to prevent audits, how to protect yourself in the event of the audit, because to be honest, sometimes we can't really prevent an audit because some of them are random. There's nothing that we did to provoke it or to spark an audit, but you do need to know how to protect yourself in the event of something like that happening, or if you're chosen for a random audit, whether on the federal level or at the bank level, because banks do audit tax offices as well. And then on next week, we'll do team building, how to build your team the correct way, how to remain compliant with team building, building your service bureau if that's what you're going to be doing. We're going to do that day. Then on day 7, we're going to do marketing and branding. So this one, honestly, day 7 is going to be a little long, but we got 2 speakers on that day. I'm just waiting on them to confirm before I post their pictures. So it should be tomorrow, but we're going to do a day for marketing and all about getting new clients, how to retain the clients that you have, virtual and traditional marketing, and non-traditional marketing as well. So that day is going to be a big day. The next day, finances and budgeting, how to save money in the industry, how to get access to certain capital that you need, especially because you know that we, especially the ones that use bank products, it's a long stretch before we start getting our money. So we'll talk about how to get access to the capital that you need in order to maintain your office, in order to get your hiring done and all of that. And the day 9, we're gonna do delegation. This is something that is like a big thing that some people really, don't really know how to implement. They know they need the help. They know it's some things that they can't, that I can't do it on my own. I need some help. I'm ready to get some help, but I don't know how to do that. And this is something that, you know, I had to learn myself. So I feel like this is a great way for, and I'm still learning myself. And I feel like this is a great way for us to, you know, why not weather this storm together? And the last day, it's going to be like our, debrief day, and this is going to be the day that we kind of like more so share our experiences and motivate each other for the upcoming season. It's a lot of new preparers in the group that's on this live, that's on the Zoom, and is participating in the challenge. So if you are someone that does not mind sharing about your experiences, if you don't mind, you know, being that helping hand or being that voice of inspiration or reason for the next person, especially those that's coming in to the industry this year, let me know so that I can put you on the topic for that day, on the agenda for that day, so that you can share. It could be anything that you want to like kind of teach somebody, or an experience that you might have that you feel that others can learn from it. Even if you just want to say a quick prayer or just give some affirmations or something. I do want this to be a collaborative effort so that we can, you know, help the next generation of tax preparers coming up, and even help the ones that's been here, because we can all benefit from some good positivity and just some good words of encouragement, some good prayer for those of you that's into that type of thing. And we can all benefit from that positive and just those what they say, those high vibrations. So that's our 10-day challenge. And then it's going to be on a Sunday, we're going to do the class for the service bureau. Now I gave y'all my Friday, I can't give you my Saturday, so we're going to do a Sunday for the service bureaus. And it's just going to be a like I said, it's going to be invite only, and not invite, but you'll have to really basically just, as long as you have an active service bureau, you will be able to get on, and we'll do like 2 to 3 hours to kind of go over some things. And you know, I'll just let y'all know what to expect, especially for the first year service bureaus. And that'll be the end of our 2-week challenge. Now, next week, the classes, these Zooms will be at 5 p.m. Okay, it's gonna be 7 this week, but it's gonna be 5 p.m. next week. Okay, so that's the only big change. It's gonna be the same link, but just at a different time. So if y'all don't have any other questions, you're welcome, y'all. If y'all don't have any other questions, I'm about to go feed my face, and you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm about to go feed my face, and I will see y'all tomorrow, same time. Well, I'll see y'all tomorrow in the group, because I'm gonna post the information tomorrow. So good night, y'all. Talk to you later.